Right, I'm going to do a painting in 20 minutes. I'm going to keep it under 20 minutes so I don't have to edit this and see what we come up with. I'm painting a scene of a Dutch farm, I suppose, and it's off Sandra Roken's website, who goes under Photographical Arts by Skeeter on Facebook, and she's just amazing, does great stuff with photos. And she's given me kind of permission to paint a couple of her things. I'm just trying to do this justice. It's a real big sky, so we're just sort of painting negatively here, just filling in there's lots of clouds, big clouds up the top, and keeping lots of white. The blue we're painting is literally the sky poking through, so we want lots of white, lots of blue. It's just getting a bit lighter as it gets down to the bottom. You know, a bit more water. It's just a big, plain, beautiful photo, actually. Beautiful scene. And I've just sprayed a bit of water, got clean water on the page prior to starting. I think it just random, like not covering it, but just at random intervals, which I think just makes you get a few soft edges and a few hard edges, and I think that's what you're after in a big sky like this. And as we get down to the bottom, we want to warm it up, and I'm just going to use a bit of the Art Spectrum Australian Red Gold for that. Just really light, almost sort of non-existent, but it's just going to brighten the whole thing up as it gets to the bottom of the landscape there, the horizon line rather. So I'm just going to put a few of those little bits and pieces through it, just at random. It's going to warm the whole thing up. Right, we're at the horizon line now. I don't want to do too much more here. I'm just going to soften a few of these edges off. Anything hard and, well, unnatural looking, I suppose, but you don't want to make it too. You want a mixture of hard and soft edges, lost and found, whatever they want to call it at art school. Excuse me. But you want to keep a bit of sparkle. While it's still a bit wet, we're going to get a bit of a shadow colour in, which we've got a darker shadow colour left over from the last painting on the palette, which is a bit of, I think it's just the ultramarine, bit of magenta and some neutral tint just to darken it up. I'm just going to drop it in here and there. It's just going to create some nice little shadows among the clouds. And yeah, that's it. A few little shadows. Once again, the clouds up the top are going to be a lot bigger than the clouds down the bottom as they get further away. So the distance is having smaller patches of work down toward the horizon. Don't muck with it too much. I think that's pretty cool. It's still getting some nice bits of light through the place, which is great. Some softy. Alright, just one last little kiss of life. To quote Joseph Zbogniewicz, don't mean to steal everything from you, dude, but kinda just can't help it when you know it's good. So yeah, different little sky, which is good. Got some nice highlights and things going through. Now the bottom is very, like along the line, the middle line here, and I will show you a picture of the actual painting that or the photo that I'm referencing here. It's really bright green. There's a lot of bright sunlight all along this little bit here. And while I've just lost a tiny bit of that there, mop up a little bit of that to get it back to a bit more white. And I'm just going to go from some cadmium yellow. Cadmium yellow here, just real. Yeah, you can hear my dog just going nuts in the background there. He's a rascal. But Yeah, so I want that really bright, so yellow, sort of blinding. It'll end up, once all the other greens are around it, it'll end up sort of blinding you, which is good. It's what you want. It's the big bit of sun. Yeah, just get a bit more of the bluey colour in there. So we want to get a green, nice green, not a. I don't think you should ever own a tube of green. I think it's silly, pointless, because you never get them looking good. Just mix up blues and yellows, makes it a lot more natural. But, there's a bit of green, bit of earthy green going in there, and I might just bluey that up a bit, make it a bit stronger. Filmed something before my last painting and I realised I did the whole thing and didn't have it turned on, so that was pretty clever of me. So yeah, I've double and triple checked now. Camera's on, sick. Right, so I'm just filling in some little bits of highlight. Not really highlight, just sort of some tree line, very distant tree line. And it's going to fade away to nothing really, which is good. Alright, now down the bottom in the water. The water's absolutely going to reflect the sky, and just for dramatisation I want to strengthen it a bit more than the sky. Strengthen a bit of ultramarine, a bit of cerulean just to keep it a bit more natural. But yeah, just going to strengthen that. What you want to do is just go real quick. So I'll end up reflecting nicely. And we can pull out some whites and that in a second, which I will do. Just want to get some in there. Just with a bigger, I mean, I don't have a great deal of white. That's probably not going to be far enough up to correct, but this will be cool. Alright, just give it a bit of that. Break it up. Alright, drying off. That's just going to dry off here. Kind of need this this area here to dry off a bit more, but I'm going to keep going because I want to do this whole thing in 20 minutes. And what are we up to? 8. Oh, shit. Alright, let's do it. A bit more of that yellow, the cad yellow, a bit thicker paint here. And go straight up. Big bold strokes, nothing, no pussyfoot around here. So that's going to be the basis for that. Yeah, that's cool. That's kind of where you want that at the moment. So yeah, maybe tiny. I'm not saying tiny, just like that, just to give it that 3. So you got 3 rough tones in the hand there. So you will have your dark, mid, and your light tones, which is good because without tone, painting is just not going to do anything. Feeling that a little bit in the sky at the moment. It didn't work out like I would. Just going to put in a couple of little bits of dark blue up here around the place. You can soften them off. It's not a problem. But you need to have a bit more strength up there. And a bit more goldy as you go down. Just to be there. Skies should be really quick. I think a lot of people fuss over them, which is cool. But I think some of the best results are just letting watercolor do what it does, and having it very bright, very sort of rough and ready almost. Just let them do what they do. So you're just marking around, getting a bit of shape in there, bit of horizon line, just warming it up. looks excessive. Once it washes off, washes down. Realise I'm wetting this a lot. Do a lot of wetting work here, which is counterintuitive to my 20-minute thing. But I reckon it'll be fine. Alright, let's get a little bit more of the cane yellow. Let's make it darker green. Alright, starting to cook. Just got to dry off a little bit. I don't think I can continue because it's a bit too wet. But while it's a bit wet down here, take advantage of that and put some real darks in. So this is going to be a real simple shoreline, but you want it to be dark because shoreline, you've got to make a difference to these things. You've got to make it. If it's dark, make it dark. If it's light, make it light. And you know, be brave. So we've got some of these shorelines going in. Not too much. Real basic. Now into what we do there, put a bit of neutral tint just on its own and run it through the actual middle of the shoreline itself, just so create a few reflections, and that gives you that edge thereafter as well. Alright, so that's just going to do its thing for a moment. We'll get a few of those highlights back. Cool. Alright, so a little bit of a change of brush down to a smaller pointed brush. Which I think it's my favourite brush. I think. Dark green. So I want some. So the green in there is going to kind of do its thing. So I want some dark green to some trees and tree lines. So it's still a bit washy. That's just a constant tree line that goes around the whole distance, which is good. I like it. Long tree. It's a bit closer to us. And I've lost a bit of that bright yellow streak. So I'm just going to put that back in over the top. There's no rules in this thing, just do what you want to do to make it happen for you. And I think from that we get a bit more of this green along the foreground. We'll continue to do its thing. Australian red gold is such a good colour. Everyone seems to dig it in that's discovered it. But we had a cool Art Spectrum Australian red gold. Give it a shot if you haven't heard of it. Try and track it down because it does good stuff. So this bit along the middle there, I'm just going to give it yet another crack with the yellow, just light, and it'll start popping through. Even over that side where it's just come down a bit, and I'll keep that continuity there. I want to keep it bright. I don't want this paint to end up too muddy. I think I've been really lucky with it so far. Yeah, I'm just going to use the old hairdryer to dry it off. Sorry about the noise, but just block your ears. I'm not going to make this any more complicated. The actual scene is a bit more complex than I've made it here, but I think it will suffer if I keep doing too much to it. So I'm just going to put some real darks in, because I haven't got any darks in the distance. We've got a real fine tree line up the back there that we just want to put in. Dodgy, scroty brush, just get it real, put it in little bits. And I like the dodgy brush because it makes everything just a lot easier to do. Kind of paints it for you. Bit of artistic license here, just giving the paint a bit more depth. But it's cool. It's doing what it's supposed to do. So that little tree shrubby thing there is coming forward. So I just want to make that extra dark down the bottom there, just like that. That's what I want. Tree lines, shoreline rather, is doing what we want as well. It's coming together nice. It's good. Not much else to it. I'm going to just wait for that to dry off a bit more with the hairdryer, and I'll finish it up. Oh, 16 minutes, come on. Come on. Feeling the pinch. Now we're going to go real dark. So we're real dark and thicker paint here. So we've got some neutral tint. We have some ultramarine blue. We're going dark, dark, dark. And that's a dark, dark, dark. We've got to warm that up. So I'm going to get Australian red gold and a touch of that cadmium yellow to warm it up. So I've got a real dark, nice dark green there. I'm just going to go over, put a few trees in. Few tree lines. Once again, dodgy, shitty old brush to keep it moving along. Just continue to have a look at the shore, I keep saying shore, the horizon line, and there's a few little bits and pieces there. We don't want to lose that light that we've created. And here, that's dark as well. Squint your eyes, get the tones, make sure you got lights and darks and mids in there, because nothing worse than taking all this effort to get a nice picture and have it be flat and one dimensional because you haven't thought about the lights and the darks. So shoreline is there now, we used the right word. So what we do here is, what are we at? 18 minutes, and I just put the brush in the freaking water when I didn't want to. So here's the bit of red, as I can see in the picture, there's a tiny bit of red. It might be like a rooftop of a house or something. I'm just going to throw that in there. And last but not least, I'm going to get an ultramarine blue, and I'm going to just spray it down there. Gives that foreground a nice dark feel. And it's going to run down a bit. Darken this up, darken, darken. Love the darks. Alright. Call that done. 20 minutes. Thanks guys.